Hi all, my name is frozenflygone, and I am going to be submitting Hamtaro Ham Games any % No Minigame Skips, and thank you for watching this video. Let's get started. So the beginning of this game has about 1.5 minutes of unskippable cutscene, so that is a great time for me to introduce myself, introduce my commentator, and talk a little bit about the run and the category itself. So this game is one of the games in the Hamtaro series where the Ham-Hams are all getting together to do an Olympic-style tournament. You, the player, play as Team Ham-Hams, and there are various hams from around the world who are competing in this tournament, led by Bo, the Prince of Rainbow Land, who is up top. So this category, no minigame skips. So the true any %, you are allowed to forfeit all minigames, and it cuts about 20 minutes off from the run, which, you know, is not very conducive to the game itself in terms of actually playing the minigames. So for any % no minigame skips, you are allowed to lose if that is faster, or you want to go as fast as possible in games such as the 100 ham meter dash, because the faster you go, the better, like, you will also go faster. There are certain games like tennis where it is significantly faster to just run straight into the ball and lose the points as fast as possible. So this kind of makes this category dynamic in that you are just trying to fully optimize which method of completing the game is going to be the fastest, even if it doesn't mean that you win the events in some cases. So there are going to be, each event I'll explain what I do to make sure that it is the absolute fastest way possible to complete the game. There's another category called all first places, which ensures that you have to actually win the games, so that's a little bit different. So here we have a little bit of, this game has a little bit of mashing, but it's not too bad on the hands, actually. So now every single day, the little rainbows tell you what events are happening every day. So first we have the 100 ham meter dash for the opening event. And so we see Hamtaro moving out of the clubhouse and going to the stadium. A big part of this game is within the menuing, knowing which event you're going to, and also menuing, for example here, getting to enter as fast as possible. So trying not to, if you over mash there, you're going to actually hit practice, which is a pretty significant time loss. Here for the 100 ham meter dash, we have to hit A whenever the meter goes into the red. There's a slight issue here. If you get world record, there's an additional dialogue that happens and you gain more sunflower seeds. So it's actually very important to try and finish the event just under world record. Which doesn't always happen, which didn't happen here. And so you'll see that it takes a little time to say a new record, and you will have the TV announcer say, it's a world record, you have to mash that, and also mash the amount of sunflower. There's also more sunflower seeds, which takes longer. So it's not as, it's a time loss that will occur in any game that has a world record. So you always want to get just underneath that time. For the first day, boss is going to show us around, tell us where the ham-hams are sleeping. This is unique to this first day event. So he's like, oh, there's not enough room for you here, you're sleeping at the clubhouse anyway, which is great, super convenient for us. Way easier menu too. So again, we're going to the bed, meaning to sleep as fast as possible. Just ensuring we're, you know, mashing correctly. As Hamtaro goes to sleep, it shows the results of the who has the most medals for every team. This is Crystal the Snow Fairy. She kind of gives you tips on how to play throughout the days. We're kind of just mashing, but we appreciate her being here. Now moving into day 2. So besides the first and last days, there are 3 events for every day in the standard cycle. And so the Bo babies tell you what events are happening and where they are. So it's important to know where they are so you can again menu from the clubhouse as fast as possible. One thing that occurs on this day is that the television tells you, hey, breaking news, we have some more events going on. That can be a time loss if you forget that's happening. So you want to try and leave the clubhouse as fast as possible and trigger that, mash it, and leave. Moving over to the stadium for tennis. Tennis is one of those events that is actually fairly difficult to win. So it's really nice that we don't have to win in this category. The fastest way to do this event, when you're serving, you just want to serve it as fast as possible and then run into the ball. So you just keep me running to the net and letting it hit my face, because that's the fastest way for us to complete the points. It's pretty much, you know, all there is to it for this. You have to win or lose best 2 out of 3. A lot faster than a standard tennis match. And for tennis and volleyball, it is a tournament bracket because they're you know, one-on-one events. So you actually have to do tennis twice. You have the prelims and then you have the finals. So you'll be seeing this again. In the all first place category, this event has a lot of RNG and is very difficult to be consistent. So a reason I really prefer this category is because I don't have to deal with actually playing the tennis game, which is ironic because I play tennis in real life and I'm pretty okay at it. So that was the conclusion of tennis. We have this additional bracket that you see that you won't really see any of the other events besides volleyball as well. At the end of every single event, you always have the dialogue of, oh, I won, or oh, I could try better next, and then Howdy tells you where the next event is. So you always want to be ready to match those things. If you hold B down, you see that Hamtaro runs, so whenever we can, we want to always be holding B and have Hamtaro running. Moving into hammer throw, which is one of my favorite events in this category just because Oxnard is extremely funny. What we'll do here to go as fast as possible. So we're going to hit A and hit B, and still have him throw it right into the fence. Typically you're going to charge up his throw, circle 7 times to throw the ball, but instead, then throw the hammer. Instead we just try and hit B as fast as possible to slam against the side of the wall, which I love. So, different difficulty settings can come into play here. If you're doing the all first place category, a lot of times you'll toggle the opponents to easy just to ensure that you win. But here we're going to get last every time, so it's not super relevant to us. For Oxnard. So for every medal ceremony, you can press B at the very beginning of it to skip the ceremony. So your typically mashing is done with A, with the A button, and so it's important that you stop mashing with A and you move and hit the B button. Make sure that you're skipping the medal ceremony, because that's a good like 5 or 6 seconds per medal ceremony if you're not skipping it. Alright, moving into the last event in day 2. We're moving to the pool. That menu moved a little bit slow, it's kind of far away. The pool has a weird hitbox, so you notice that I did not go straight to where Howdy was. I actually go slightly to the left, because if you go straight on to talk to Howdy, you have to hit A twice. It doesn't trigger the first time. So to avoid that, we just scoot to the right to make sure that we get his hitbox. Diving is one of those events that, whether you're doing good or bad at it, you are going to just fall the same exact speed. The only way you can speed anything up is to dive at the first possible moment and make sure that you're hitting the A button when they tell you to score, hitting the B button when they do the replay to skip the replay. So since you can't speed it up or slow it down based on how well you do, I like to practice. So I always do the dive. If you do the dive is, if you hit the buttons correctly fast, you'll see him go into his little pot and you get bonus points. So that's what's fun. In this game, there's a lot of button presses that you can actually do before it looks like you can do them. So as they're showing the 1, 2, 3 of how many dives you're doing, the second that the number starts to move off the screen, you can hit jump instead of having to wait for it to go all the way to the screen. There's just small optimizations like that that allow you to save time throughout this category. Interestingly enough, even though we're able to go quite faster by scoring last place into events rather than first place, the discrepancy between the any percent no minigame skips category and the all first places category is only about 2 minutes, so that's pretty interesting. I hold world record in this category, in the any percent unrestricted category, and I have 2nd place in the all first places category for this game. I'm also a mod reader for this game. It's really, really important to me, and I'm happy to see a lot of people running it, especially the ILs have really jumped off recently. A lot of people are running ILs because they all run through in-game time. It's very accessible. So the end of the 2nd day, we get samples from our friend Ham, who shows us all the cosmetics that you can get. So you can dress up your character in the menu with all the different costumes, and so you're able to buy those from different hams throughout the game. We don't really see us use any of the costumes, but these ones are cute. So this dialogue and the TV dialogue at the beginning make this day a little bit longer than the rest of them just because you have to wait for all this dialogue that won't happen on the rest of the days. The rest of the days are pretty streamlined without as many cutscenes besides the games itself. Slight optimization there is cutting in between Sandy and Snoozer to get to the bed instead of going around Sandy. Alright, so we're doing pretty well so far. We've won all the events we've done, so that's exciting. Or at least still, we haven't won all the events we've done, but we're still in first place, so that's hype. Alright, now the Yellow Bow Baby is telling us what's going on. We're moving to volleyball, which was our other tournament style event. Volleyball is not as easy to lose quickly as tennis is. There's really no way to speed up making the ball drop as faster or anything like that. It's really easy to lose your serve though. Instead of tennis, it would actually be slower to double fault than to just, serve and miss the return. With Hamtaro, you can just throw the ball up and then totally miss the hit, so that's very fast. And then we kind of just let the ball fall a bunch of times. This ends up being slightly slower than tennis, but a lot easier because we don't have to do anything. So, this would be a good time for any donations or blurbs. We got to get to 7 points. I really like this game because it's you do co-op with the computer who is Bijou, and they don't drop it or anything, so it becomes really fun figuring out the strategy of how to serve correctly, where to put the ball, things like that. So they serve it to Bijou, so that's a slight time loss, rather than it going to us and we get it. She kind of has a zone of when she'll go after the ball or not, so we don't want them to serve to her. But they only did it once, so it wasn't a big deal. Alright, so we lost the volleyball match, and we'll go to the final match later throughout the week. Going back to the stadium now. It was pretty slow menuing. The more I've played this game, the faster I've gotten at menuing. You can actually start menuing before the visual of the screen pops up, just slightly. So if you menu really quickly, you can actually, it goes extremely fast between areas. A slight optimization that we have found for this race and for the 100 meter dash that's not featured in this video is you can actually hit the A button to stop their stretching animation. So that's saved a few seconds, and that was really what allowed me to get the world record on the unrestricted category, just that slight optimization. For hurdles, so you see here, I was kind of staying at the back of the pack because I want to make sure that I come in underneath the world record, and slower than the world record, which I did. That wasn't the closest. I probably could have gotten, a little bit closer to the world record, but it's about a 3 to 4 second time loss, so it was worth me waiting that 1 second. There are a few events where you can actually go significantly faster than the world record, and it becomes worth it to do so. Those events are swimming and marathon. Otherwise, the events are too short and you can't get that much faster. This is birdback riding, which is historically one of my worst events, just because it's very hard to have control of the bird. So for this event, you have to go over all of the jumps in the correct order, and you have to have the right speed level to do it. So you see the one has a green border around it. You have to be at green speed. The speed is shown on the left. Every time you hit A, you go up 1 level in speed. So you need to be, on that color or above to go over the jump. And so you see there, I had enough speed to go over the jump, but I was just a little bit too close. So this is an area for optimization for me. I've been practicing birdback riding to ensure that doesn't happen. So I always gotta, for that jump, I gotta go a little bit farther away. Here I'm going around because going straight there, I would have the same problem of being too close. Again, took a safety circle there to make sure I didn't have to recharge again. So birdback riding is not always my strong suit, but I've been practicing and learning faster ways to go through here. At the end of this, you just go as fast as possible and go all the way to the end. For that event, the score is based on how long you took past the time limit, but also any stops you had, like the one we had. And at the end of the day, Howdy doesn't have an event to tell you, so that's nice. You can just walk out there. The lawn is interesting in that you have to move diagonally to get to Howdy and move diagonally out, and sometimes you'll forget that and just run straight to the fence, so it's something to keep in mind when you're running this. Alright, finished another day, moving into our next day. We are still doing well. It's kind of interesting, it looks like we've won everything because it says we have 4 golds and then nothing else, but we've gotten a good amount of last places. Alright, moving into day 4, we have pole vault, tennis the tennis 3rd place match, and then carrot pole. Carrot pole's really fun. Alright, heading over to the stadium for pole vault. Pole vault is a really unique event in that you get to set how high you want to jump over the pole, and then it just depends on how well you did to ensure that you go over it. So you're able to hit these A buttons to go faster, and then you have 2 meters that you will use to hit B at the right time. We want to go fast, so we just spam B there, and she'll fall, which saves us a lot of time from her actually attempting to jump over a pole. She looks kind of silly with a little somersault, I like it. You have all the other competitors in the background, you have a few friends who are watching, it's really cute. Alright, so we forfeited all of those. Skipping the medal ceremony here, that was a little late on the skip. Interestingly enough, even though we collect a lot of sunflower seeds through playing the events, we never have to use them for anything. The only thing you really use sunflower seeds for is to buy costumes. Which is not needed for this category. And here we go, moving to the tennis match. The bracketed events are really interesting in that, so historically, or typically, it'll always be, you know, wherever we fall is wherever we fall, but it's going to be Team Rainbow, and then the Pirate Hams, and then Team to Jungle. This and volleyball are really interesting in that they only programmed you to play against 2 of them. They programmed you to play against the Pirate Hams in the first match and Team Rainbow in the second match. So they will always, if you lose, they're going to make Team Rainbow lose, so you battle against her. Because they didn't feel like it was necessary for them to program all 3 of the teams, which I think is really interesting. And so in volleyball, you will always go, you're always going to do, you always go against Team to Jungle and the Pirate Hams also, which is interesting. Here we just have the same kind of tactics, trying to run into the ball. Sometimes it's a little difficult to tell what's happening when they're serving, but you know, if they miss you, it's just a tiny bit of time loss. I like her little spin that she does when she wins. Alright, so we're done with tennis, which is always exciting. So yeah, the order gets all mixed up just because of how the tournament goes down, which is kind of interesting. Alright, moving over to the carrot pole, which I'm honestly not sure what Olympic equivalent there is to this category. But anyways, so again, the lawn moves diagonally, you gotta make sure you're going diagonally to get to Howdy. And also, since Hamtaro is entering, if you just mash like you've mashed for all the other events, you will go too quickly and you will hit practice. So I always have to make sure I wait just a little bit so I can menu to enter correctly instead of practice. So this is, for this category, we can just, you know, pull the carrot as fast as humanly possible. We don't have to worry about the score. But typically, it depends on how long you wait. So you saw that carrot had 10 points and had a little bit of a stub. That means you waited a little bit. So for this event, going fast, really, for the all first places category, is a balance between waiting long to get good points, but also trying to go as fast as possible to save time. But here we're going even faster than the bunny, and it's pretty good. So you're not trying to go as fast as possible, you're trying to get as many points as possible, but you do get a small bonus depending on how fast you completed compared to your opponents. And we see Hamtaro really didn't do so well on this one. That's alright. The carrot pull is a really, really cool event, I feel. And you'll know that this is the first time anyone's, like, you'll know that this speedrun has been completely reset because it says best score for every single event. So that's kind of how you can tell in terms of moderation of seeing if people have reset or not, because the dialogue changes every time you complete an event. And it also changes depending on if you won or lost that season. So like getting 100%, you have to get all the trophies. You get 1 trophy for coming in first place. You get another trophy for coming in first 3 times, stuff like that. And the dialogue changes depending on if you won or lost with some of the characters. So you always have to start from a completely new file. Alright, still leading the pack here with our 4 golds. I believe the rankings are just based on who has the most golds. We don't have our fairy ham, we just see Maxwell studying late at night. Love him. Alright, moving into day 5. We have swimming, archery, and sailing. So, we'll see if I've employed the new strat that we found that you can actually go fast enough in swimming that it's worth going as fast as possible versus trying to come in right under the world record. I'm unsure if this is before or after we had discovered and timed that in the community. The Hamtaro speedrunning community is like is pretty small, but we're really close, and a lot of us run most of the games, so we work together and help each other out, which is awesome. So for swimming, you have control of 4 different hams. So we start out with Hamtaro, who's doing the backstroke. You alternate A and B, trying to get as fast as possible going in the red zone. And so each of the hams you use in this race has a different way to complete it. So you have to hit left and A at the same time as far as the meter goes. He's doing the breaststroke, I believe. I think it's in the same order as like the standard relay, but and so this now we're moving into Pashmina, who just has up and down. This really becomes a matter of really watching the clock and knowing where you are. If you're trying to come in under world record, if you're able to go faster than 3 seconds, this is just when you're trying to get as perfect as possible. And then Hamtaro's is much faster than the rest of them, which can be difficult timing the A and the ups because the timing has been so wildly different. Alright, it looks like I did in fact try and just go as fast as possible here, so that's good. That's, as you can see, I got 5 seconds under the world record, which is worth it, because you only lose 3 seconds with the dialogue and the seats. So absolutely worth it to get this swimming world record. Happy to see that in this PB. Because the difference between getting the first place seeds and getting world record seeds is really not that significant. Alright, so moving to archery, you see I, again, like, kind of missed the hole there because of the slight diag, but moving to archery. Archery is a really interesting event. Archery is kind of time consuming because every single shot she has to stand there and notch her bow and focus and all that. But you're just trying, to get it all the way into the middle. For our cases, we're just going to shoot the shot as fast as possible. And when I'm trying to get first place, I'm also trying to do that too. I'm trying to wiggle it around as little as possible, get it towards the center, and fire. So it just randomly spawns you on the board every shot. So we'll get a bunch of random scores here. I also really like how this event doesn't have like any music. I feel like it's very focused. It has sound effects, but doesn't have music, which I find really interesting. So yeah, like that shot we just got a 7. Last one we got a 4. It's completely random where it starts you. That one was an extremely good place to start. Basically, with opponents on normal, you need to get an average of 8 or higher. Or I think 7 or higher for normal. You need like mostly 9s for hard, and then for easy you need, I think, higher than a 6 pretty much every time. So you have a little bit of leeway. So even if you randomly fired off, we would have done pretty okay if not for that too. Alright, moving to the final shot of archery. Alright. I think it's really interesting how hamsters would have their own little bows and arrows, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, for events like those, it's absolutely worth it to get last place because the seeds you get at the end are much less. There we have to go around the pirate hams to make sure we don't bonk up against them. Moving into sailing. Sailing is a really interesting event in that it is timed, but there's no world record in game. If you go into practice mode, you can, you know, it catalogs your best time, but there's no world record. And I think that it's because sailing is extremely varied on where you end up, and there's not really a good average. So sailing, we want to go as fast as possible here. We want to win. So you have to use the wind meter, which is shown in the small box in the upper right corner. The wind meter is going to show what direction you should be going to get the best boost from the wind. But for the most part, we really just want to take a straight shot as much as possible to our next objective. And there's a lot of sail angles. Like this sail angle is able to take us straight to the downward buoy. But when we're going from down to up on the screen, there is not a sail angle that allows us to just go for a straight shot. So it becomes a game of using the wind to our best potential. So we're tilted to the left, but the wind was pushing us right. Now we're moving to the right, and the wind is going to push us left. Just trying to keep a straight shot as much as possible using the wind. But the catch is, every single time you move your sail, you also lose speed. So it becomes we're trying to move the sail as least as possible, but also have the wind help us. Once we get to this point, it's just faster for us to just go straight for the flag, alternate as much as possible, even with the speed loss. So that part is the hardest part of this event, is the long straight shot, because now, going from up to down, we have a flag angle that allows us to just take a straight shot. The pirate hams being ahead of us at this point isn't really that good. I had a little bit of some missteps with my timing, but we're gonna come first place, no problem. And again, we have the same problem here of moving from the lower buoy to the finale flag. We don't have an angle for it, so it kind of becomes feeling it out using the wind based on where you are in the event. So finished pretty handily in first. The IL world record for that is like, I believe, a minute flat or a minute 1. I really try to get around a minute 5 or less. That's my average. That was below average sailing, but that happens. Moving back to the clubhouse. I also just wanted to mention that in terms of seeing the emulators, so this was done on my computer, which I'm not able to record using OBS. That's why there's also not a live split running. But on the person's computer that I will be using to stream, we're going to be able to cut that out. So I just wanted to let you know that in case that was a concern. This is the one time that Crystal makes you do something other than mash, and so she asks you, what's your favorite food? And the default is hamburgers, and I'm okay with that. So I just hit start and A to leave the dialogue as fast as possible. That can become a problem if you're mashing, because you're just going to keep telling her A, so you want to make sure you hit start and A to get out of there as fast as possible. We're moving towards our last day, so we're day 6, there are 7 days total. Because I don't think they could come up with enough events for, 2 or 3 weeks. So 1 week is perfect. We have the triple jump. Again, you see the A pads that you saw in the pole vault. And the fastest thing for us here is to foul right after the line. So if you jump after the red line, they won't let you keep going because you foot faulted essentially. And so we want to just go as fast as possible by hitting all the A buttons and then foot fault right after the line to end the event as fast as possible. So I just think it's really interesting, all the different optimizations the community has found for finishing these games as fast as possible. Some of them are just traditionally you got to do the event well. some of them are fun stuff like this, fouling out as fast as possible. I think it makes it like a really fun speed run, and it's extremely well optimized, and there's not a lot of randomness like there is in the all first places category. So this is why I really love this category. I really think the time on this can come down even farther from the 38, a little over 38 minutes that I have in this run right now. There's definitely some places for improvement as with the birdback riding and sailing and some other events. Making sure to talk to Howdy a little bit on the right. So synchronized swimming is an auto-scroller, essentially. So it's a actually really fun and unique event. And so it's again faster to lose this event to get less seeds, but there's like a song going on, and you have to hit the A button in conjunction with the song, and hit the B button at the top of those to match her. And Penelope, who is the girl in yellow who you are playing as, looks really silly when she misses it, and she's so nervous. It makes me laugh. I think it's really funny. So there's no way you can speed this up at all because it's just based on the musical routine. Pashmina's just doing well over here, and Penelope's struggling, but this is another good time for donations and everything like that. I could opt if I need to be fast. I can if we need to make up time or anything, I can always do my wrap up and conclusion and thanks in this section, which I will also do right now. Like the Hamtaro speedrunning community has been really kind to me. I pretty much just really hopped in and wanted to tackle all the different games, and everyone had the amazing resources. I've been trying to make guides for every single game to make this series much more accessible to people, and I've seen the growth of our community too. So I would just love to show off any of the 3 Hamtaro submissions that I will be providing for this marathon, just because this series and games are really close to my heart and close to a lot of people's hearts as well. So just wanted to say that and say thank you for watching again. I appreciate it. So they are not really impressed with our dancing skills, which is totally understandable. It really could have been better. I don't understand how they calculate these numbers. I truly have no idea. I don't know why they didn't all give me bottom 3, but whatever. They're below 4. So we're skipping the ceremony. They're both pretty sad about it. You have to match both of their texts, which is semi-unique. Oh, never mind, just Penelope's text matches. My bad. Alright, moving into volleyball. That's gonna be a, kind of similar thing that we saw in the prisons. It looks like you kind of bonked him, but it's not any slower to just hold up, so we just hold up and get to Howdy as fast as possible. There I mismenued and hit practice. Happens sometimes. Gotta make sure you're waiting just long enough and moving up to hit enter. If you're matching too fast, we'll go to practice. Gonna miss the serve. Oh yes, so I want to clarification. So we went against Team to Jungle in the very first match, and now we're going against Team Rainbow. You will only ever see those 2 opponents, even though we lost the first time. I possibly misspoke and so we said went against the Pirate Hams, but we do not. It is just Team to Jungle and Team. So yep, we're just kind of hoping they serve to Hamtaro, trying to get this to end as fast as possible. Last tournament bracket. Even this cutscene. Beach volleyball is hard, Bichu. It truly is. When I'm trying to win beach volleyball, it's hard. So this comes to the conclusion of our 6th day. We're getting to the end of the game. We have some visitors from Team to Jungle here. How's it going? And now moving into our last day. The last day is unique, just like the first one, whereas it only has 1 event. So we see ourselves losing in the stands right now. We have Team Rainbow overtook us. Here we have a little interesting cutscene with Oxnard. He's trying to get real fit and bulked up this this event because he wants to be the best competitor. So that's kind of cute. Alright, and now we have the final event, which is the marathon. The marathon is another one of those events where it's faster to do it well. So, you know, hopefully we did that in the submission. Marathon is one of the most highly contested individual levels, and also just really, really fun. So Marathon is a rhythm-based game. You have to hit the A button in time with the music. You can also see it visually on the bottoms of the screen, and they actually show the pattern behind your head every time you go into a water break if you understand, like if you would rather see the music visually that way in the notation. So this is, we're just trying to go as fast as possible. As you hit the button successfully, it gets faster and faster, so you have to adjust for that. So then we move into the water break, you can see the new pattern behind you. You have a little bit of rest time, and then you have to adjust to the new pattern. And it is actually pretty tricky to stay consistent in this, because not only do you have to remember what the pattern is, or react to the pattern well, it gets faster and faster, and you have to continue to get it right faster and faster. And there are definitely times where I'm just hitting the A button so fast, it's hard to get it correct. Moving into our second water break, we have a little bit of a change in rhythm again. I just really like how the soundtrack also picks up with it, and it's pretty jam and tune. It's a really nice end to the game overall. And it's actually a very technical event. See, we're way ahead of all the other racers here. We're actually, Oxnard is also in this race with us. He will always get last place or second to last place, depending on where you end up. And you actually see in the background us running by every single event we've played so far, all the different locations. So we saw the tennis courts, we're moving to the beach now, so it's like we're truly doing an entire marathon around the entire Ham Games space, which I think is like a really nice aesthetic touch, seeing all the different areas in the background. Like this is Ham Studios, an area we didn't get to see in the speed run, but it's really fun casually to go and check out the TV studio. You can also have like a little interview on set, which is fun. Then once you get here, we're moving into the end of the event. And 2 minutes flat is pretty good. Again, you know, world record takes about 3 seconds to happen, so I gained 2 seconds here by getting the world record rather than waiting. So poor Oxnard, you know, finished a minute and a half behind us. You hate to see it. It's a new record, and so then time for this ends when you see the screen go black after you talk to Bo. The closing ceremonies don't count within the category, which is really nice. So you don't have to just mash at the end. So talking to Bo, and here's time. So yeah, that is Hamtaro, Ham Games, any percent no minigame skips. Thank you so much for watching.